And it's great to be alive on this Memorial Day weekend. Hello there. Welcome to the Seth Justice Show. I am, Seth Justice. Yeah. Easy enough to know from the title. Anyway, I hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're enjoying a little time off from work. And also, let us not forget to remember those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to, do the things that we do, like me in this podcast. I really do appreciate it. Like, I come from a long line of family members who are, service members, from my grandfather in WW2, World War II, to, my uncle being in the Army, my cousin who is was actually in the German Army. Yeah, I'm German. Surprise, surprise, from my pale ass skin. Woo! Anyway, and then I also have a flag from, I believe, the, was it Spanish? Some war after the Revolutionary War. Spanish-American War. Got it. I did well in history, I promise. So, yeah, I mean, that was, that's actually sitting up on my dresser right now. So, but so and my dad being a police officer, if you didn't know, I know, Officer Justice, so funny, got that my entire life. But yeah, my family, we have all it's either been coal miners, it seems like, from my mom's side, to people being in the service. So to all those families that have lost loved ones, and or the people who are serving, and you have lost friends and, brothers, sisters, all that stuff. This weekend is kind of a remembrance of all of them. And yes, that does mean you can have fun. All right. That does mean you can laugh. You can enjoy, the weekend and having a nice long weekend, so you don't have to worry about, work on Monday or anything like that. Two things can be true in this life. And when it comes to like Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend, there's also that thought of remembering those who gave up their lives so we could, enjoy the freedoms that we have today. So let's remember that on this Memorial Day weekend, and also on Monday with Memorial Day and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, it's a special weekend too, because it always seems like this is the kickoff of summer, where people are, at least up north, people down south, I would assume, I'm not 100% certain of it, I'm just going to be general here. I know, surprise, surprise, somebody being general, stereotyping, what is going on? Yeah, anyway, I would assume a lot of people down south or out west are usually always doing something, but sometimes, and actually most times in like the Midwest or Northeast or Northwest, when it's cold a lot in the winter and it's not so great and not so fun at times because of all the weather that we have, whether that's snow, rain, sleet, hail, weather that dips below 0 degrees. Yeah, it's not fun. And especially going out and doing things isn't great, but usually Memorial Day weekend is kind of like the kickoff to summer. And so I'm really excited about that, because you can actually go out and do things and enjoy, life. Because it seems like sometimes some people have the mentality of life just stops when it's winter, which I never understood. Like, I always want to do something. I always want to be out. I always want to be, somebody who does the things and be's that person that's always out and having fun. And because being at home sucks. Let's be honest here. It's not great to just sit in your house, sit in your apartment, and do nothing and just watch TV. And trust me, I do a lot of TV watching. I really, 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 really do. But it's also like, I don't want to be doing that all the time. Like, some days, sure. Like, if it's like 2-3 days, I go and watch, like, sit in my bed, which I have a nice TV in front of my bed. Dream come true. Check. And just lay in my bed and watch TV. Sure, like 2 or 3 days out of the week, absolutely. But it's also, I do that after I go to the gym. or after I do a hosting gig for the radio station that I work at, Fly 92.3, by the way. Or like if I just go for a walk, or if I just go out to eat once in a while, just doing something like that really helps me in my mental health. And because if you don't know, I always may seem like a cheery, happy-go-lucky person. I'm not. I'm really not. I can get really into my head, and then I get really stressed out, and then I get really, really miserable. And I know that about myself. And the thing that always helps me is getting out and doing something and being somebody that does that so I can help myself, honestly. It's a selfish thing. And sometimes you just got to be selfish. And we've talked about that ad nauseum. But yeah, like with me and my brain, I am such a perfectionist. I am somebody who is always needing to be perfect. I always need it to sound like, if I'm on the air, I need it to sound exactly right all the time. And I need it to be cutting edge, innovative. I need. And when I don't get that, then it's so bad in my head. And then add on to the fact that, I was, 20 pounds heavier a few months ago after, going to the gym and losing all that weight and eating properly. I've lost 20 odd pounds. And looking in the mirror and seeing somebody who is, in my head, just a fat piece of lard, who at one point I've never had a six pack, and I don't necessarily want one. Like, I don't want it. Like, of course, would I accept that? 100%. Like, if I got down so lean that you could see my abs, I'd be so happy. But that's not necessarily the goal, right? So my goal right now is just to be healthy, and I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to be, Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Not trying to do that. Is that a solution that I would absolutely love and adore? 100%. But again, rambling. But when I was, 20 pounds heavier, and my clothes were starting to get tight, and I was looking in the mirror, I'm like, golly, what is going on with me, man? Like, this isn't right. So add on to that, then the mental health thing gets kicked into full drive, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like, this is not good. And then add in like any health concerns I had, which were just hypochondria, and my newfound germophobia. It was a time, man. And so that's why, like, now I'm trying to be better about my mental health and trying to be better in general, because I was not great. I was fine and everything like that, but I wasn't clicking on all cylinders, and I was kind of like, and I was a little depressed, a little sad, but mainly like anxious. And one thing about me is, like, I am not an anxious person. I'm a live and let live kind of dude. And so with this, it brought me into a space that it wasn't comfortable in. And I don't mind discomfort, except when it's inside my head, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a certain level of mental discomfort that I love. Like, if I'm pushing myself at the gym, I love that. If I'm doing something that I'm not used to doing, like, say, for example, in Columbus, I did a morning show, or filled in for the morning show during COVID when the morning show was all sick. And they couldn't be in the studio. So I did, and I hosted it. And that was scary, but it was so much fun. Like, and also another example would be skydiving. I want to skydive so bad, but I've never done it, never had the opportunity to do it, but I am going to do it. I swear I'm going to do it. So that is going to be one thing I absolutely do. But stuff like that discomfort, I am more than okay with. Like, I am all good with it. I am happy. I can push through it. But when it's discomfort based on nothing but my own head and my own brain, it's rather strange. It's rather strange. And now here's the deal, right? everybody goes through their own stuff. Like, again, going back to the servicemen and women who, you know, are in the military, who came back, who have PTSD, who have anxiety issues because they're afraid of somebody just popping up out of nowhere because they were in a foxhole and things went down and now they're scared. They saw their friends die. You know, that type of anxiety, I know nothing about. This is totally first world probs. This is me, you know, I'm living a certain kind of life, and I wasn't in the military or anything like that. My best friend Joe, you know, he knows some of the things that go on in war because he was in the military. Now it's relative peacetime, but there's still military actions going on. That I think, well, he didn't really say. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know he was deployed. That's all I know. But either way, when it comes to me, right, going back to that, like that, I don't know anybody else's struggle. I know my struggle, and I know what I struggle with. And when we talk about mental health, when we talk about things that, you know, make us sad or depressed or whatever, we're not comparing somebody's mental health to ours. Or you're not saying, well, yeah, that sucks, but have you heard like mine? No. Like that is not what people do, right? All they can rationalize is what's in our heads. And sometimes we can't rationalize what's going on in our heads, and that's where we get a little depression, where we get a little anxiety and everything like that. But when it's based on traumatic actions, whether that's, you know, somebody who grew up and had a very traumatic childhood, or somebody through war, or if you've had somebody pass away, and you were really close, it's one of those deals where trauma can come from anywhere, and comparing it doesn't really do anything, right? You just know what you need to do to work through to make yourself happy. And for me, all I try and do is work out, get out and do something, and have some fun. Because that helps me, and I need people around me. I'm an extreme extrovert in that sense where I get energy from people around me, and that is something that, you know, I've known for the longest of long times. And sometimes I just like to be reclusive, and, you know, it's fine to do that every once in a while, but you can't do it consistently. And being alone, it is a drug that can be good because you can learn a lot about yourself, but can also be very, very, very bad. But yeah, so, and speaking of fun things, I will say, Friday, I went and saw Tom Segura live at the Palace Theater here in Albany, and it was so funny. And I got to share this story too. So it was me and my buddy Pete, who also works at the radio station here. And so I was on one side, and then there was a couple in between Pete and myself. And the dude who was next to Pete was like kind of shy laughing, and he was having a great time. His wife or girlfriend or partner or whatever, I don't really know, was not happy at all. She was pouting the entire time, like, I don't like these jokes. I don't like them. They're too crude. They're crass. And then she would just sip her beer. Like, she went from arms folded to pick up beer. Yeah, that's not funny. Put beer down. I mean, I'm sure he appreciated you being there and supporting him and what he enjoyed. But I was exponentially more enjoying you and your isms because of, I don't even know, like, just because you were so mad and so upset at some of the jokes, like, it made me die laughing inside. Like, I think Tom Segura was hilarious. Like, 10 out of 10, you need to go see Tom Segura live because he is just phenomenal. But if I could be sat next to somebody like that, oh, it makes the show even better. It does. And I don't know why I'm such a jerk about it, but it was so good. And I would turn over and look, and she'd be like, me, like almost a pouty lip too. And I was dying. And I told my buddy Pete, And he was just like, that's why the dude was like silently laughing, which is the weirdest thing in the world. Like, if you think something's funny, let it be funny. If you don't, do what that lady did, and then you're golden. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And then Jason Aldean on Sunday, today actually, by the way. And then I had a couple of gigs, one Saturday and then one on Monday, where I get to go out and be around people. So my mental health is going to be on 10. And then Tuesday, Avril Lavigne is going to be on the Broadview stage at SPAC, which I'm very excited about. Childhood crush right there, which I don't even think she's that much older than myself. Like, she might be in her 40s. I actually don't know. I don't know how old Avril Lavigne is, and I'm not going to stop this podcast to look it up, even though I really want to know. And that's another problem with me. Like, if I want to know something, I'm like a dog. Like, I will sniff it out, I will find it, and I will do it. But yeah, it's I don't know. It is a good thing to be me sometimes when you're able to be out and about. And I am very, very lucky to do the things that I do. So I'm very happy about that. But you know what? Let's get into some headlines, Let's talk about things that are going on in the world of pop culture and all of that fun time, which we're going to start off with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, I think, Jordan Hudson. Well, there's some rumors saying that they are now engaged, which, golly, Bill. I mean, I don't know. Like, and usually if you're a big fan of the NFL and are all caught up on stories and everything like that, you know that Bill Belichick was always like, we do not want any distractions, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, which is actually funny because he's had a lot of distractions in his career from, Deflategate to Aaron Hernandez to, so like Tom Brady getting suspended, a lot of odds and ends happening in the world of the New England Patriots. But he was always like, we don't need distractions. We don't need to do this. Like, we need to be focused just on football, which is rather strange now because all people are talking about right now is Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, and they're not talking about the North Carolina Tar Heels, who, if you didn't know, he's actually coaching. Yeah, he's going to college to coach, which is strange in and of itself, but whatever. But yeah, and again, it's just like a 73-year-old and a 24-year-old who he could very well be her grandfather. I mean, the storylines write themselves. Her being overly controlling of his personal life, him just sitting back, relaxing, chilling, having a 24-year-old girlfriend, and people being like, yo, Bill, like, what? And then, just the weirdness. And then she did a beauty pageant, too. And she was also a cheerleader up until just a little while ago, which we already talked about. But it's just like, wow, man. I don't know. I mean, love is love. We're going to give it up to him, have fun with all that. And, Bill's sitting pretty because he's like, I got a 24-year-old girlfriend and I'm living my best life. I don't care what is even going to go on in my life. He probably doesn't even care. He doesn't. He has a young girlfriend. He's happy. She's happy, I would assume. I mean, she gets to control a powerful head coach who is arguably one of the best coaches of all time. I don't necessarily know. But, yeah, I don't even know, man. Like, if I'm 74 years old, divorced, have millions upon millions of dollars, would I do the same as Bill Belichick? And I'm just now thinking about this, so I'm pondering my thoughts. And regardless of how I answer this, it's going to be creepy. So, and creepy in like, if I say no, people are going to be like, oh, but deep down you will. And then if I say yes, people are like, oh my goodness, you'd be 74 years old and, dating a 24-year-old or getting engaged to a 24-year-old? What is the problem with you? But then me, just being me, and an antagonizer and an instigator and somebody who just loves to poke the bear. Honestly, I'd do it. Yeah. If I was 74 years old and a 24-year-old was just like, I like you. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm like that with anybody, really. in my dating life. I'm like, oh, you like me? Cool. Okay, we're going to date for a while. Now, I don't know if I would get married to that person. But again, it just depends on the situation and how I feel in that current moment in time. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of would. Because I don't really give, two S words. I'm going to try and keep it, PG language. But two S words about, somebody who like thinks ill of me because of my decisions. Like listen, I make dumb decisions. I make good decisions. I do all the things under the sun, I just do things. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And so like in that situation, if I feel inclined to do that, yeah, I'm going to do it. Shoot, I'd be old, wrinkly, and, nearing death's door anyway. And had 24-year-olds like, hey, how you doing, handsome? And I'm like, okay. I mean, come on. Let's be honest with ourselves, all right? And I love attention. I am a big old attention-seeking behavior kind of person. Excuse me. So look at my job. I'm on the radio. I'm doing a podcast. I'm trying to grow my social media. Of course. Attention-seeking behavior. Can't help it. Can't help it. And also speaking of attention-seeking behavior and the NFL, Travis Kelce came out this week in a picture, and people found out he's a very hairy dude. And usually people think of hairy, they think of, oh, he's got some chest scruff, maybe some happy trail action going on. Like myself, I would say I'm a rather hairy dude. Like my chest is fully bushed up. I got some tummy hair. Luckily, though, I'm not like Travis Kelce, where I got a whole sweater going on. Yeah, he apparently has, and I saw this. He has a big old back hair sweater. It's almost like a vest he's wearing each and every single day. He's like Jim Tressel, if you were an Ohio State fan in the early 2000s. Yeah, Mr. Sweater Vest. That's pretty much Travis Kelce right now. He's the reincarnation of Jim Tressel. Oh, that made me laugh. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, but Travis Kelce, he apparently, and not apparently, like legit, is hairy. And he's almost like Sasquatch. I like the Jim Tressel comparison better, though. Anyway. But now some companies are trying to get him to go their way so they can endorse him and make him less hairy for good old Taylor Swift, which if she cared, that would not have even been a thing. I don't know how often they see each other, but you can guarantee that if Taylor Swift did not like any of that, with her billions upon billions of dollars, you can guarantee he'd be the most clean-shaven person on the face of this planet. Obviously, she doesn't care. Now, is it her favorite thing? I have no idea. I'm not Taylor Swift. But the fact still remains. He has crazy back hair and crazy front hair, like chest and tummy. I don't know about the other thing. But he has crazy amounts of hair. If Taylor cared, it'd be gone. Facts are facts. Especially when somebody is worth, $1 billion. Like, and in your relationship, right? If your partner didn't like something about you, you would probably change it if it was like a hair, like say, a mustache. If you had a mustache and your partner was just like, shave it, gone. And you're like, okay, fine. Or if, I don't recommend this, but if you told your partner her legs needed shaving because they're getting too long, 1, you might get smacked. 2, they would probably do it. Begrudgingly. Or they'd be vindictive about it and keep it growing very, very long, and then, you could start a fire. Yeah. So, either way. That's my 2 cents on that. Daggone it. Oh, what else is there? Justin Bieber being weird again. I mean, we've talked about Justin Bieber. I don't know if he needs help or if he's just trolling. I don't really know. The dude is the dude. I don't know if I've given up on Justin Bieber, but I'm daggone pretty close. Yeah, pretty darn close. So I don't know. Honestly, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all I want to talk, because we're not talking Diddy again. I mean, again, just the grossness of that is unreal. And that's all anybody's talking about. And so we're not going to talk about Diddy. We're not going to talk about the trial. We're not going to talk about any of that. We did that all last week, and it was what it was. But yeah, so I don't know. It's the fact of the matter is gross. That's all there is. But anyway, you know what? Let's just wrap it up here. Yeah, done. Dancing around the fact and trying to think of something else to talk about, which I probably should. I should probably, prepare a little bit. But yeah, no. Anyway, thank you so much for listening into the Seth Justice Show. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Justice_Radio on Instagram, at Seth Justice Show on X, which I really need to get better at. I am just doing terrible at that. I think I've posted once since I redid my X account. I'll be better about it. All right. I'm not going to promise it because, well, then I might not do it, and I don't like breaking promises. But anyway, you can listen live to the Seth Justice Show on Spotify and YouTube. All you got to do is search The Seth Justice Show, and bada bing, bada boom, you got all the episodes that you could want of the Seth Justice Show, and then you can listen to them. Or not. Or you can. I'd really appreciate it if you did. Either way, I'm going to get out of here. I'm done rambling and talking, and so I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, and let us also remember those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. And I just want to say to all the service members, I know this isn't the time for this, but I do want to say thank you to all the military personnel, to the firefighters, to police officers like my dad, who is now retired, but all that, hospitals, everyone who does something for other people. Something I could not do because I'm way too selfish for that. Thank you. Thank you for all of that. And thank you for, being the people that you are. So really do appreciate it. And also to the families who lost somebody, just know that we're behind you. We care about you. And we're remembering all of those who lost their lives this weekend. And honestly, most of us remember them all year round. So it's not just a weekend. Let's not just remember this weekend. Let's always remember that the people who stand up and fight, we need to support as well. And those who lost their lives, we need to remember them because, well, they allowed us this freedom. So thank you so much for listening into the Seth Justice Show. That's all I got. Goodbye.